Do you believe there are still places on Earth where humans are forbidden to exist? Where a single misstep could make you disappear forever? From an island sealed off for more than half a century, ruled by thousands of venomous snakes, to a deep, untamed forest where nature swallows every trace of humankind. Why are these lands so dangerous that the world condemns them, isolates them, and forgets them? What lies beneath their wild beauty? Is it merely the instinct to survive? Join us as we uncover the places where even death itself takes the shape of nature. The forbidden zones of nature. In the heart of South America lies a land where every creature is driven by the purest instinct to survive. A place of breathtaking beauty, yet filled with deadly dangers. Here, a single misstep could turn you into prey. This is the Amazon rainforest, the most dangerous place on Earth. The Amazon is not just a forest. It's a vast ecosystem stretching across Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Ecuador, Bolivia, Guyana, Suriname, and French Guiana, with Brazil alone covering about 60% of its total area. The Amazon River system stretches nearly 6,400 kilometers, like a massive artery of the planet. Each day, it pours millions of tons of fresh water into the Atlantic Ocean, so much that even hundreds of kilometers from the coast, the sea still bears the muddy brown color of the rainforest's silt. The climate here is hot and humid all year round. Endless rains nourish a green world where every creature, from the tiniest to the largest, struggles for every breath to survive. But beneath that seemingly endless canopy lies a world where few have ever survived to tell the tale. A river so hot it can boil alive any creature that falls into it in the blink of an eye. Giant anacondas, stretching dozens of meters long and thick as ancient tree trunks, are seen by the locals as monsters of the deep jungle. And deeper still, hidden in the shadows of uncharted lands, exist tribes of cannibals, wild humans who have lived in isolation for centuries, seeing outsiders as enemies and blood as a warning. In the Amazon, not every legend is born of imagination, for some tales are written in blood. Among the countless secrets passed down through generations, no creature inspires more fear than the one that dwells beneath the water. It doesn't need to hide in the shadows, deceive, or strike by surprise. It simply waits and tightens its grip. The locals call it by many names: Yakumama, the mother of the river, or more simply, Anaconda, a creature so real that science can measure it, yet so terrifying that no one wishes to see it in the flesh. We often hear about this giant serpent in movies, in the legends of Amazonian hunters. But have you ever wondered, how long has it really been here? It's not a new creature, nor a product of imagination. The ancestors of the anaconda have existed for over 60 million years, a time when the dinosaurs had only recently vanished, and giant reptiles were beginning to reclaim the Earth. Fossils discovered in ancient South America reveal their ancestor, Titanoboa carajonensis, a serpent stretching up to 13 meters long and weighing over a ton. Considered the largest snake ever to have lived on Earth. From that bloodline, through millions of years of climatic change, the green anaconda, Eunectes marinus, slowly emerged as its rightful heir. Today, the descendants of Titanoboa still carry a trace of that ancient legacy. In the wild, they can grow over 7 meters long, weigh more than 200 kilograms, their bodies as thick as the trunk of an ancient tree. Here, the locals still speak of a colossal serpent, over 10 meters long, powerful enough to drag a wooden boat beneath the river's surface. Whether it's true or not, science has never confirmed. But every legend carries a fragment of truth, born from humanity's primal fear of nature itself. Unlike most snakes, the anaconda needs no venom. It kills with muscle, the raw strength of nature itself. When it coils around its prey, each tightening loop acts like a steel vise, crushing bones and stopping the victim's heart within minutes. With such power, it's no wonder the people of the Amazon regard the anaconda as the true ruler of the swamps. And sometimes, the line between natural prey and human being becomes frighteningly thin. If the anaconda is fear born of darkness, massive, silent, and cold-blooded, then in those very same rivers, another threat lurks, one far smaller in size. Small, but in the hundreds, the thousands. And when blood touches the water, they turn the whole river into a storm of steel teeth. They are piranhas, the bloodthirsty assassins of the Amazon. Why? Can a creature so small become one of the most feared and infamous killers on Earth? Nature has gifted them with the perfect weapon, jaws like steel saws and muscles far stronger than their body size suggests. Each tooth is as sharp as a surgeon's scalpel, locking perfectly with its opposite to form a living pair of shears, capable of tearing through flesh and tendon in a single bite. Here, just one drop of blood hitting the water, and the nightmare begins. Blood contains hundreds of volatile organic compounds, molecules that spread rapidly through the water, and at concentrations as low as a few parts per billion, they're enough to trigger the piranha's razor-sharp sense of smell. When the signal of wounded prey is detected, the piranha's brain releases a surge of adrenaline, triggering the entire school into a collective hunting frenzy. The first fish to react sends out subtle mechanical vibrations through the water, a chain of ripples that travels along the lateral lines of the others. Within seconds, hundreds of piranhas pivot in unison, racing toward a single point, where that first drop of blood fell. with a bite force up to 30 times its body weight, a ratio that even sharks and crocodiles can hardly match. Each strike rips away a chunk of flesh, and within seconds, the victim, whether a large fish, a bird, or a small mammal, is reduced to nothing but a bare, gleaming skeleton. And sometimes, the victim isn't an animal. Most piranha attacks on humans result in minor injuries, usually to the feet or hands. But at times, they can be far more severe, and even fatal. Argentina, 2013. Christmas Day. Hundreds of people crowded into the Paraná River to cool off under the scorching heat. But within minutes, the river descended into chaos. A swarm of piranhas, believed to be Pygotentris natureri, launched a mass attack. Over 70 people were injured. Several lost fingers and toes, and even children couldn't make it back to shore in time. Health officials described it as one of the most severe piranha attacks ever recorded in the region. Those attacks remind us, in nature, you don't have to be large to be a predator. Sometimes it's the small ones, hiding silently beneath the surface, that humans should fear the most. In the Amazon, amid millions of living creatures struggling to survive, there are still humans who have never set foot outside their own world. They are known as the isolated tribes, peoples who live as their ancestors did thousands of years ago. And above all else, they fear modern humans as if we were monsters. For decades, these isolated tribes have been branded as savages, portrayed as headhunters and cannibals lurking in the depths of the jungle. Countless documentaries and films have woven tales of horror, leading the world to believe that the Amazon is a land of wild and brutal people. But the truth is far more complex. Most of those communities are not savage, as many believe. They are simply trying to survive in a world that once drove them to despair. Their ancestors were victims of a dark era, when explorers, traders, and slave hunters ventured deep into the jungle, bringing with them disease, violence, and destruction. Thousands died without ever knowing why. Entire villages vanished within just a few rainy seasons. Since then, they chose to flee, retreating deep into the rainforest, severing all contact with the outside world. To them, outsiders are not kin, but symbols of extinction. Through generations, that fear has seeped into their very blood, becoming instinct. A strange sound, a glint of metal in the sunlight. To them, it could only mean one thing: an intruder. So when they raise their spears or attack outsiders, it isn't out of cruelty, but because they were never taught how to trust a world that once destroyed them. That's why the border region between Brazil, Peru, and Colombia, where they dwell, is known as the Forbidden Triangle of the Amazon. No trails, no footprints, and no one who has ever entered has come back to tell their story. Thousands of kilometers away, off the coast of Brazil, lies a small island, uninhabited, without a single village, without a trace of civilization. Just over 30 kilometers off the coast of Brazil lies an island completely sealed off by the government. Here, every single square meter could kill you. They call it Ilha da Queimada Grande, or more chillingly, Snake Island. a place where nature needs no monsters to inspire fear. We're about to enter that forbidden zone, to uncover why nature created a place so terrifying that even the Brazilian Navy dares not take it lightly. From afar, it looks like a forgotten paradise. Green forests, gray cliffs, and drifting clouds wrapping around an old lighthouse. The story begins nearly a century ago, when a lighthouse keeper, his wife, and their young daughter were sent here by the government to tend the light. They would become the last people ever to live on the island. Sometime later, they never returned. When the supply ship arrived, the lighthouse was still dark and the house stood empty. No one knew what had happened. Only rumors whispered that they had been killed by snakes during that stormy night. No one truly knows what took place. There were no records, no photographs, only stories passed down along the coast for nearly a century. But soon after the tragedy, the Brazilian government sealed off the island completely and raised red warning signs. Restricted area, deadly danger. Today, only the Navy and a small group of scientists are allowed to set foot on the island once a year to maintain the lighthouse and collect biological data. The legend may be just a story, but the fear surrounding this island is very real. And within the mist that shrouds it lies a truth every scientist agrees on. This is the place with the highest concentration of venomous snakes on the planet. Amid the damp rainforest and steep cliffs of Queimada Grande, only one creature truly reigns: the golden lancehead viper, Bothrops insularis. This species exists nowhere else on Earth. They are the descendants of a population of pit vipers that became isolated thousands of years ago, when rising sea levels cut off a coastal mountain range near São Paulo from the mainland. The mountaintop that remained gradually turned into Queimada Grande Island, completely isolated in the open sea. At that time, a small group of jararaca pit vipers, a species common in Brazil's rainforests, still lived on that ridge. When the land disappeared beneath the waves, they became trapped on what was left of the mountain, with no way back. No predators to keep their numbers in check. No rats or land mammals to serve as prey. A harsh environment, dense forests, scarce water, and almost no stable food sources forced them to adapt in order to survive. Recent surveys estimate that on this island, barely half a square kilometer in size, there are between 2,000 and 4,000 golden lancehead vipers living here. In other words, almost every square meter of land hides a venomous snake. With such density, Queimada Grande is considered one of the most snake-infested places on Earth, an island where nature leaves no room for humankind. But if there are no rats, no mammals on the island, then what do the snakes eat to survive? That seemingly simple question turned out to be the key that helped scientists uncover the extreme path of this species' evolution. In the middle of the ocean for thousands of years, the snakes here had no choice but to hunt migrating birds. Those that stopped to rest on the island forged the ultimate predator. Each year, the Brazilian Navy makes only one voyage to Queimada Grande Island. The mission is strictly defined: to service the automated lighthouse, inspect signal equipment, and ensure that its light continues to shine across the ocean. Accompanying them is a team of scientists, the top venom research and anti-venom center in South America. What drives them to take the risk isn't only science. The golden lancehead's venom contains compounds never seen in any other snake. Studies show some enzymes in that venom can dissolve blood clots, regulate blood pressure, and help treat heart disease. What was once forged to kill now holds the potential to save millions. If you found this video interesting and enjoyable, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it, so more people can discover the mysterious stories of nature. And don't forget to comment below. Would you dare to set foot on these forbidden lands? I'd love to hear your answer.